This is the Cessna 162 Skycatcher, an aircraft that isn't like any other single-engine piston. When you venture into the world of airplane ownership and evaluate different aircraft models for purchase, it quickly becomes clear that each offers various combinations of strengths and weaknesses. Some have outstanding payload at the expense of increased fuel burn. Some are capable of accessing very short runways at the expense of cruise speed. But very few offer the unique blend of qualities of the 162. For the price of limited useful load and expensive, difficult-to-find replacement parts, the Skycatcher provides an airframe and engine that are fairly recent with reasonably sporty performance and modern avionics. Its story is an interesting footnote in general aviation history. Introduced in 2007 as a modern, low-cost airplane for training and personal use that adhered to the then-new light sport aircraft category, it attracted more than 1,000 orders before the first delivery took place in 2009. With an ever-aging fleet of 150s and 152s, private individuals and flight schools alike were attracted to the concept of an updated two-seat Cessna with more cabin space, modernized avionics, proven product support, and a target price of less than $100,000. At that time, the market appeared to be ripe for such an aircraft, and the 162 appeared to be poised to fill the void perfectly. And because it was certified as an LSA, it could be flown by sport pilots without a medical certificate. But for a number of reasons, it is considered to have been a failure in the general aviation marketplace. By most accounts, this was primarily because of two closely related factors: failure to meet the original target price and the decision to assemble the aircraft in China. But is it really a failure? Stay with us till the end of the video, because here is everything you need to know about the Cessna 162 Skycatcher. Stepping inside, though the plane shares similar general dimensions and layouts as the familiar 150 or 152, those similarities begin to fade as soon as you reach for the door handle. Entry to the cabin is easy because the wing strut is positioned behind the cabin door, so occupants are able to enter and exit the cabin without having to step over the main gear. This configuration creates less of a natural barrier between occupants and the propeller, however, so it's particularly important to shut the engine down before allowing anyone to enter or exit the cabin. The doors themselves swing upward, making entry easier still. Early on, however, many door latches failed, causing the door to pop open in flight. This isn't typically a problem in most airplanes. Traditional forward-hinged doors only actually open a few inches in flight. In the case of the Skycatcher, however, the gull wing doors catch the wind, blow open, and become damaged beyond repair. Cessna later offered a secondary door latch modification to prevent this from occurring. It proved to be a good investment, with multiple owners reporting being quoted a staggering $5,000 for a replacement door from Textron Aviation. Settling into the cockpit, it quickly becomes clear you're in a modern airplane. Gone are the antiquated greens, oranges, and tans from the 1960s and 70s vintage trainers. In their place is a stripped-down, utilitarian interior completely devoid of any extraneous trim or upholstery. The floor and walls of the cabin are more reminiscent of a high-quality fishing boat, with rivets, lightning holes, and a durable anti-slip paint visible in the absence of any carpet or molding. This minimalistic interior is intended to lighten the airframe as much as possible and enable the airplane to meet the strict maximum LSA weight limit of 1,320 pounds or 600 kilograms. While not unpleasant to look at, the interior is devoid of any extraneous comforts such as heat and sound insulation. This becomes very apparent on cold days because any throttle setting below maximum cruise results in a very chilly cabin temperature. Applying carb heat further robs you of cabin heat, making winter pattern work in colder climates a very chilly experience. Fortunately, the generous cabin width provides some space for warm jackets. Compared to a 150, the Skycatcher provides an additional 8.6 inches or 22 centimeters of width at the shoulders. The cabin is even a full 4 inches or centimeters wider than a Cessna 172N. The 162 doesn't do much better in particularly hot climates. Neither side window opens, leaving the two wing root vents tasked with cooling the entire cabin. The instrument panel is very clean and modern, with the Garmin G300 taking the place of traditional analog instruments. When it comes to training, pilots starting out with this avionics suite will find the transition to the G1000 to be a smooth one. Because the flight instruments are all found within the G300's primary flight display, a total electrical failure, possible though certainly uncommon, could leave the pilot landing without an instrument-based airspeed reference. A good checkout in the airplane should include flying an approach without referencing the G300 to practice landing the airplane using its significant aerodynamic, oral, and visual cues. The experience is not unlike landing an old Piper Cub. ADS-B is a significant concern when shopping for a 162 because the only ADS-B solution that has been approved by Textron Aviation at this time, the Garmin GDL-82, is an expensive one. The GDL-82 itself lists for $1,795, and multiple owners surveyed reported a total bill of $5,000 to $8,000 for parts and installation. Such an expense must be taken into account when purchasing a Skycatcher without ADS-B, and the prices of unequipped examples will likely be affected accordingly. Also notable are the control sticks, combining design aspects of both sticks and yokes, and thus earning the nickname Stokes. They feel much like a traditional control stick, but are attached to the underside of the control panel rather than the floor. This design frees up leg space, and most pilots find it to be an easy, intuitive transition from standard yokes. An electric trim switch is mounted atop each stick. The Skycatcher has no manual trim, and trim position is indicated on the PFD. Now let's talk about the engine, performance specifications, and how it flies. The Skycatcher is powered by a Continental O200D engine, a four-cylinder, air-cooled, horizontally opposed engine with a 100 horsepower rating with a TBO of 2,000 hours. While the low weight creates some compromises in certain areas, it provides significant improvements in others. Like many LSAs, it can be a handful to fly in gusty, bumpy conditions. But that low weight also provides noticeably better takeoff and climb performance compared to a 150 with the same engine. The takeoff ground roll is 13%, or 95 feet shorter at 640 feet or 200 meters, and owners report takeoff rolls of approximately 300 feet or 90 meters when flying solo at light weights. Rate of climb at sea level is 880 feet per minute or 270 meters per minute, a 24% or 210 foot or 64 meter improvement over the 150. Cruise speed is improved as well, with a 75% power setting resulting in 111 kTAs at 4,000 feet, an improvement of approximately 8 knots over the 150. Skycatcher owners report good handling qualities in flight, with no ill manners or unexpected traits noted. Both power-off and power-on stalls are benign and predictable, and occur without the sudden wing drop that is present in many 150s or 152s. These refined handling qualities and flight characteristics reflect Cessna's thorough testing and certification process. Though approved as an LSA, the airplane went through similar testing and processes as it would have if it had been built and sold as a standard category aircraft, completing a total of 533 spins during the program. Accordingly, it lacks any bad traits or idiosyncrasies that sometimes haunt other LSAs. The maximum range is approximately 400 nautical miles, which is 460 miles or 740 kilometers, assuming optimal cruising speed and no wind with an average fuel burn per hour of only 6 gallons or 23 liters. Pilots who are accustomed to making full stall landings in a 150 or 152 will find that the Skycatcher has less tail clearance in the flare and is thus more susceptible to tail strikes, particularly in gusty conditions. This is an airplane that rewards a flatter approach, good airspeed control, and a less aggressive flare. To get a feel for the sight picture, you can sit in the left seat on the ground while another pilot positions the tail in the landing attitude. Cessna's weight-saving measures are apparent in various places, from the manual flaps operated by a bar between the seats to the free-castering nose wheel, which requires the application of brakes during taxiing. The landing distance is similar to its takeoff distance, coming in at around 896 feet or 273 meters under standard conditions. Overall, the Skycatcher is considered a lively, fun-to-fly airplane. While the lighter weight can make it more of a handful in gusty, bumpy conditions, owners describe it as a very enjoyable and sporty airplane to fly. One of the challenges the Skycatcher had during its production run was the purchase price. Initially advertised at $109,000, the price rose to $149,000, driving many buyers away. A check of prices now found a range between $40,000 and $80,000, with most aircraft having between 400 and 800 hours total time. While the annual fixed cost is roughly $6,000 to $9,000, the average hourly operating cost is estimated at $50 to $80. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Here are 2 videos you can watch next. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.